So apparently my opinion on this album is actually super controversial. I got a lot of tweets at me about my opinion, comments and comment section, people attacking me, I guess, about my opinion on this album. So I decided to go ahead and make a video about it because I don't see a lot of people with this opinion. It's clearly very unpopular. And instead of it just being me memeing and trolling and just throwing in a bunch of nonsense for the reasons why I enjoyed this album, I decided to actually give my actual opinion on a few of the tracks and why I feel like this whole album will be received a lot better later on. So if you enjoy me talking about Playboi Carti or this album or just topics I enjoy and you enjoy my passionate ranting while watching gameplay, then hit that like button and subscribe today because you will see more of it. So, Whole Lotta Red, in my opinion, is a great album. I think that it actually is one of my favorites of last year, even though it got released at the very end. And because I know that many of the comments on this video are going to include, people basically saying that my music taste is trash, I don't know what I'm talking about, I clearly am only into mumble music and blah 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 blah, I will go ahead and preface this by saying my other favorite release of last year was Logic's No Pressure, which was really more of a lyrical album, focused on boom bap heavy beats, some throwback, and definitely very much an ode to hip hop type of album. So why is Whole Lotta Red, an album that many people seem to despise and hate to the very epitome of their being, why is that also in my favorite list? Well, I'll tell you. The production on this album is top notch. The release of this album was chaotic. The controversy surrounding Playboi Carti and his issues with Iggy Azalea and his future kid and everything that is surrounding this album, the leaks, the amount of time we waited for it, Mario Judah going ham and pressuring Playboi Carti to release it, all of these things to me contributed to the sound, the actual sound of the album, but I really put it all out of my head while listening to it. And when I decided to take all those different things that kind of were wrapping around this chaotic album and put it out of my brain to just try and focus specifically directly on the sound of the project, I was pleasantly surprised. And part of the reason for that is also because my expectations were ridiculously low. I was not going into this album expecting Playboi Carti to give me the dictionary or to tell me how my life is going to become better. I was not going into this album expecting Playboi Carti to sound like Playboi Carti from 2 years ago. I was not going into this album expecting to hear any of the leaks that I've heard over the last few years. So because of that, because I wasn't expecting any of these things, I was able to go into the album with a glass empty, with everything empty, with no real expectations, and I just sat there and listened to the scope of the album as it was, and the sound hit me. Okay? I absolutely love the chaotic nature of the album. I think the beats are derivative of, trap music and drill sound, but at the same time, the style, the riffing, the vocal inflections, the way that Playboi Carti says different things, and some of the things he's saying is violent, it's visceral, it's raw, it's bloody, it's red. It's exactly what the color of the album I feel like is supposed to represent. And I feel like that adds a deeper tone to the album when you look at it in that perspective. The idea that Playboi Carti is more of a persona, more of an image, more of a greater artist in general that is trying to present this project in this chaotic, destructive way, paints the entire album as more of a real solid concept to it than just some rapper riffing over some tracks for a few minutes, putting them all together on, something and submitting it as an album, which is what many people were saying that he did with this. If it sounds rushed, part of the tracks definitely sound rushed, but I think it actually contributes. I actually think all these things benefit the sound of it. This album, in my opinion, is supposed to sound rushed. It's supposed to sound chaotic. It's supposed to sound weird and off the wall. Everything he does in this is such a big, drastic step away and change from his previous sound. And I love that. I absolutely love that, because I feel like as an artist, you need to be able to make different evolutions. I feel like you need to change up your sound. You need to change up your style every few years, every couple of years even. If you change your name, that's great too. But the reason for that is because it basically helps you live longer in people's minds. Because guess what? Every single day, actually every single hour, is a new person being born. Which means that there's more and more new people that are coming into the fray of this world. And there are more new ears that are picking up your music. So the more that you evolve, the more you're trying to change things and try different concepts and expand your repertoire for what you can do, leaves you being this surprising, open, growing, living body of development that people really expect in their own lives, and they kind of want to see that from the artists that they listen to and the people that they follow. They want to see an actual living human that grows and changes with time. And the flip and the switch that Playboi Carti did with this album, with the way that he looks, with the way that he presents himself, was all fitting with the concept. Just nail on. And not enough people are appreciating that aspect of everything. Of course he's being made fun of. Of course people are roasting him. Of course it didn't sound like what he sounded like 2 years ago. And I feel like once you get that mind away, once you take that out of your mind for a second, and you just take a second to really listen to the actual sound, it sounds very rock derivative. It sounds very punk derivative. The cover of the album is referencing a vintage magazine that covered a lot of metal and rock and punk bands. So when you look at it that way, and then you listen to this album, then you realize that Playboi Carti really has transitioned from less of a rapper and more of a rock star. And the people who were hating on Playboi Carti before, that didn't like Die Lit or didn't like any of the other projects that he's put out, we're gonna hate this project too. So it really just comes down to the fans. What were the fans? What is their perception of it? And so far, I'm seeing a lot of fans change their minds. When it first came out, it was getting trashed into the nethers. I mean, everyone hated this album. And I'm starting to see the fans start to change their mind as they're listening to the tracks a bit more. Some of the tracks are starting to grow on them. Some things are starting to really pick up. And that is only natural. And I expect that to happen for the rest of 2021. Especially when Carti incorporates the visuals to some of these tracks. We're going to see the collaboration with Givenchy and Kanye West really start to pull through. We're going to see different creative things that we probably have never seen an artist do before. And I'm excited for that. And I do think that this is going to be an album that will be appreciated later. I think that this whole era of Whole Lotta Red, what Mario Judah did, the leaks, the controversy surrounding Iggy, and everything, all of the talk and chatter and discussion surrounding this album and its reception will be seen as an era of hip-hop. I really do. I really think that this is a lot bigger and a lot more important in the grander scheme of things than people are really letting on. And some people are just going to pick up this album, listen to Playboi Carti saying never too much about 1,000 times in the first track, and turn the album off and not listen to any of it. But I can tell you, as a Playboi Carti fan that's listened to his previous work, listened to the leaks, and listened to this, that he's actually saying some of the most he's ever said in his career in this album. And this is the most daring that he's ever been. And I love that. I'm excited for that. And I think that that is something that needs to be appreciated. So although this opinion is ridiculously unpopular, I really wanted to stress the fact that I am not trolling. I'm not memeing when I say this. I thoroughly enjoyed this album from start to finish. I will continue to play this album throughout the year. And I'm going to keep coming back to it, just like I did with Die Lit. A lot of these tracks are just very, very good over time, and they just sound great the more you play it And the more you catch different things that he was doing in the background, or different things he said that was playful and fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed, I guess, listening to my opinion on this. It's very unpopular. If you want to leave the dislike button, that's fine. I welcome all opinions on this album, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see everyone in the next one. Also, it's my birthday, so I guess leave birthday wishes. I'll see everybody in the next video. Peace.